Hey guys, Christian Ludemann here. In this video, I want to talk about the key thing to make a lot of money as a software developer and the honest truth that is not talked much about in this industry. So here's what we're going to cover. We're going to cover why location is key and my story about moving to different locations and what opportunities that gave my career, and how to work in highly paid locations if you're not already there. So the number one key to making good money as a software developer is sadly about the location. Just by moving location, you can 10-20 fold your salary if you're like from a very poor country already. Just by moving location with the same skill sets that you have already. So if you're not working out of a rich country right now, you're probably making a fraction of what you could be making if you are getting into jobs in richer countries. If you're, for example, in India or Brazil, people are going to pay you less just because of the cost of living in that specific country. And for example, if you're living in an expensive country, expensive city like New York, then you would be earning a lot more. Even relative to the cost of living, like you will be saving up a lot more money just because you are in a more expensive city. Usually they rationalize the pay based on the cost of living, but still, if you save up more money relatively to the cost of living, for example, in New York, then it's not only about that. It's just people are finding excuses to pay people less, and it's all a big marketplace. So if they can get away with paying people in India or Brazil less, then they're going to do it. That's simply how it works. So my story from working in different locations. I'm from Denmark originally, which is one of the richest countries in Europe. So that was quite good opportunities with work there and freelancing. Then later I moved to Switzerland for a contract, which is probably the richest country in Europe, and it has the lowest taxes as well. And after living there for a while, I moved back to Denmark because I got some good lead and coaching contracts. I got probably the best contract I could possibly get in the Angular industry in Denmark. So I was maximizing my freelance opportunities in my country. And then COVID happened and everything turned remote. And I had contracts from Denmark and Norway, and I was traveling around, so I didn't have to pay taxes because I resigned. I moved out of Denmark as well at this point. And I did my online coaching as well, so everything's online. So if you make money online, then basically you can decide your taxes based on where you want to be located. So you can pay lower taxes. Denmark has about the highest taxes in the world, so everything elsewhere I moved, I would have paid way less taxes. So that can be worth it. So if you're not already working from a highly paid location and you haven't won the geographic lottery from where you're from, there's still hope. There's ways you can move to more highly paid locations. Also, like I did. So there's some basic stuff you have to have in place to work from a highly paid location. So the basics are, of course, high English level. That also include if you have a strong Indian accent or a strong Brazilian accent, working on your accent is gonna help. It's gonna feel more like being in the Western culture and stuff. So that might be worth it, taking extra language classes and be good at English and speak with less of an accent. That's probably also something that's not mainstream talked about, but the more you can integrate in the country you want to work from, then the better it is. That also includes learning the local language. If the local language is not English, then also learn the local language is going to help you. Study abroad in a highly paid location can help you get the foot in there, get some connections in place. You can also take a coding bootcamp there, where they sometimes cooperate with recruitment companies and they can help play the students. You can go to meetups and conferences in these highly paid locations and network there. Maybe you're going to find some companies that are looking for developers and you can maybe get your foot in the door there. Or you can meet other developers and that work in specific companies, and you might be able to get a reference and get a foot in the door that way. And then on top of all of this, I also recommend you build a personal brand, because it's also going to make you stick out from the competition. And I talked about this a couple of times, but this is what I recommend you do. You are working with the technology you want to be working with. For me, that's Angular development. Then you write down your experiences whenever you learn something or do something, either in your job or maybe if you contribute to open source, then you create content about that. Then you redistribute that content to create, for example, YouTube videos. You speak at conferences and meetups. Sometimes they come to you. If you make a really killer blog post, you get a lot of traffic, they will come to you and ask you to come and talk at a meetup or conference, or you reach out to them. When they have the request for papers, you reach out to the conferences and meetups and you send them the blog post and you say you want to make a talk about that to redistribute the content you created. Or you can also write a book. You can combine all the blog posts together and combine it into a book. So that will place you as an authority in the industry. And that is necessary in places where there, for example, visa requirements, or also just outcompeting the local talent. If you are placed as a very strong candidate as an expert in that specific skill you have. So that's what I recommend you doing regardless, because having a brand is going to make everything easier in the tech industry. So wrapping it all up, now you know why location is key. And if you want to make more money in tech, then you should be focusing on getting into places that pay better, simply. You can do that remotely still, but you want to do one of these techniques and especially focus on building the brand. It's going to be the number one thing, because that can also help you when you redistribute the content by getting connections and stuff in these places. And that's going to make everything easier. So good luck.